Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my January reading wrap up. So chatting about all the books that I finished in the month of January. I had a bit of a slow reading month, but before hopping into all of the books I read and my reviews, if you're new here, hello, my name is Emily. This is actually my second channel where I talk about all that interests me outside of the beauty space. So you'll mostly find bookish content over here as well as the occasional clean with me or gardening content, just a place where I can talk about all the things I love that don't fit on my main channel. So I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, but let's hop into the books. Like I said, January was a bit of a slow month. I definitely was in a bit of a after Christmas slump at the very beginning of the year, and then mid-month is my oldest son's birthday, and at the end of the month is my birthday, so it's just very busy overall. But I did finish 4 books, and I am over halfway through 2 other books, so I'll quickly touch on those at the end. Firstly, I finished Cress by Marissa Meyer. This is the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles. The Lunar Chronicles is a YA sci-fi retelling series. The first book is Cinder, where you're following Cinder, who is based off of Cinderella, but she is a cyborg. And the second book follows Scarlet, who is based off of Little Red Riding Hood, and then Cress, who is the main character in the 3rd book, is based after Rapunzel. And now I can't really get into full thoughts without spoiling the series or anything, but I did give this book 3.5 stars, like a low 3.5 stars. It took me a million years to get through this book. I had to do immersion reading and combine audiobook with physical reading, as well as just flip-flopping back and forth. Like I'd listen to the audiobook while I was driving or in the shower, and I just really struggled to get through this book. It is quite large, but for being YA, it took me a long time. However, the ending had me excited to continue the series in the future. This is my longest outstanding series, like the one I started longest ago and still haven't finished. So it is a goal of mine to finish this year. Second, I read Saga Volume 9. Saga is an adult sci-fi graphic novel series. Very mature content in here. Definitely not for children. My kids try and peek over my shoulder whenever I'm reading Saga because it looks like it has fun pictures and the colors are beautiful. No, do not let your children see this book. Again, volume 9, I can't really get into the nitty-gritty of what happened in this book, but Saga starts off where you have 2 people that fall in love, 2 alien species that's set in space of different races, and they have a child together, and it just like further aggravates the war between their 2 planets. Their child is seen as an abomination, they're on the run, and a whole bunch of entities are after them. I gave volume 9 5 stars. This whole series has been 4 to 5 stars. It seems like every 3rd book is a 5-star for me, which is very strange. This was full of heartbreak and betrayal. It was so good. I am anxiously awaiting volume 10. I'm officially caught up to the releases, and there's no date listed on Goodreads. I haven't actually done any sleuthing or Googling, so I don't know if a date has been put up anywhere else. I do know that they're officially back to writing the series, so that's a good sign because volume 9 is definitely not the end for those characters. The 3rd book I read was Shiver by Ali Reynolds. I read this for the Book Therapy Book Club, which is hosted on an app called Geneva, and I discovered it from a few bookstagrammers. It's a chat-only book club for those of you who are introverts or maybe like get really anxious on a Zoom call and just would rather type, and it's been a really good time. I've read the last 2 books with them, the first 2 books that they ever did. I hopped on at the beginning. But Shiver is a wintry thriller. A group of friends has a secret. They were best friends 10 years ago and all like snowboarded and stuff together. And They have been invited up to a ski resort out of season, so it must have been very expensive for someone to rent it out, and nobody else is around as a bit of a like reunion, like a 10-year reunion. I've missed you guys. At least that is the pretense on which gets all of the friends up at the ski resort. But this is a thriller, and the chilly, creepy, suspenseful atmosphere is done so well. I read this at the perfect time during a snowstorm, and it definitely had those like chilly vibes. I really, really enjoyed reading this. I did give it 4 stars. It wasn't perfect for me. There's a lot of snowboard talk. It's dual timeline, so it's like 10 years ago and then present. And in the 10 years ago sections, they're snowboarders and their friends and their competitors, and there's a lot of like discussing techniques, and it just became a lot. I have no interest in winter sports, so if you do like snowboarding, sorry if you can hear all the cars. If you do like snowboarding, then that might be right up your alley, but it like dampened down my enjoyment of the book. Finally, a book I have here to show you. I finished The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I did a buddy read with my best friend Rebecca. We are wanting to read through the Throne of Glass series together, and we decided to start with the prequel novellas. I know you can read this after the 3rd or 4th book, or first. So we decided to do it first, and I'm actually very happy we did, because we have some insight and backstory on things that are just like offhandedly mentioned in Throne of Glass, technically book 1. So I'm happy to have read this. It is 5 short stories, and I really enjoyed all of them. I gave this a 4.5 star. It wasn't like, I give it 5 stars to like, OMG, this is so amazing, I'm obsessed, I loved it, everyone needs to read it kind of thing. And I did really, really love it, but I'm not 100% obsessed yet. I know the series basically just continues to get better the more you read on, and I'm very excited. The Throne of Glass series follows a young assassin, Selena Sardothian, and in this you're following her on 5 of her adventures before the series actually begins. So you get some like history and backstory on her, and I really enjoyed them. They were fast paced. I read this really quickly. As I mentioned at the beginning, I am more than halfway through 2 other books. The first is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This is technically book number 1. Again, me and my best friend Rebecca are buddy reading this. We're reading 5 chapters a day, and I am on chapter 38, page 288. So this will be finished by this weekend, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm still feeling like 4.5 stars, like really loving it, but not absolutely obsessed yet. I'm really like invested in the mystery of what's happening here, and I love that where we left off in the Assassin's Blade and like the events that happened at the end of the last short story are where we pick up with Selena in Throne of Glass. So again, I'm very happy I read the prequels first, because otherwise, like the beginning, I think would be very confusing for me personally, and also just things that are randomly mentioned throughout, like a man named Sam, a place called the Red Desert, things like that that are very clear in the short stories. And I'm still trudging along in The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. This is for Stephanie Book Versus Channel Read Along for the Dandelion Dynasty series, as the 4th book is scheduled to come out later this year. This is a very dense, very political, Asian-inspired fantasy, and I'm really enjoying it. It's feeling like a 3.5, 4 stars. Like I am enjoying my time, but it's so dense that I am finding myself reading slowly, because there's just a lot of details, a lot of names, and there's so much like political turmoil and like under the table things happening and betrayals, and like who is loyal to who. Like, it's very, very complicated, at least for me. So I'm reading 2 fantasy series now, but this is like new adult, very quick, turn the pages super fast kind of thing. Like, I'm blowing through these, whereas this is taking me a long time. I was supposed to finish this in the month of January and finish the next and read the next book in February, but I'm trying. I'm on page 418 of this book. So again, I should finish this in the next week or so. So those were the 4 books I completely read in the month of January and the 2 books that I mostly read. My goal, as I mentioned in my reading goals video, I can link that up in the cards, is to read over 50 books this year. So I'm definitely going to need to pick up the pace. I would love to get to 8 books a month. Obviously, that's going to put me over my 50, but then I'm going to have months like January where I read not a ton. So let's hope that February is better. Let me know in the comments down below what books you read in the month of January and how did you like them. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.